Okay, back to multi-step equations, number 4. So we have two distributive operations next to each other. It doesn't matter which one you would do first. So we're going to distribute. By the way, that's a plus. Sorry about that. Little typo there. Okay, so negative 3 times 4 is going to give us negative 12x. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. So we are done with the first parenthesis. Okay, next we'll take care of the next one. Positive 4 times 6 is plus 24x and plus 4. So what you do the first one, you have to do the second one. The most mistakes I see in this kind of problem, students, hey, sometimes it happens to me too, students forget to multiply the second term inside the parentheses. So 4 times 1 is 4. Now in this step, I see a lot of combining of like terms. So I'm going to combine number to a number. And I'm going to combine the number with the variable to each other. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you do first. So I'm going to go with this one. So 12x. And then minus 5 equals 43. Okay, now we have our one-step equation again. So plus 5 to both sides. So what we are doing is performing the opposite operation, excuse me. So what you do to one side, you have to do the other, and this cancels. And then you're going to bring down 12x equals, and you're going to get 48. In the last step, you divide whatever is next to x, which is your variable. And 48 divided by 12. And that gives us 4. Okay. Now we're going to check our answer. What I'm going to do is plug in the 4 into the original equation. So negative 3. So you can see 4 times 4 plus 3 plus 4. Oh, I'm going to run out of space here. I'll try to squeeze it in here. Equals 43. Okay, I kind of squeezed it in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all this in decimals, and I'm going to see if it equals 43. Okay, let's get back in our decimals. Let me clear these. Okay, so negative 3. See, I'm putting parentheses instead of multiplication. I'm sure multiplication will work, but in algebra, get sense of using parentheses instead of the, dot or x like previously. And then plus 1. And usually I close my parentheses, but I guess I didn't have to. 43, look at that. So number 4 is correct, yay. All right, 43 equals 43. You did it correctly. Now let's move on to number 5. Okay, number 5 is a little easier. What we're doing here is just using distributive property. And then we're gonna solve for one variable, because there's only one x. Okay, negative times negative is positive, so 4x minus 12 equals 12. Okay, now we are going to take care of the negative 12, so plus 12 to both sides. Okay, use your 24. And last step, divide by 4. Okay, let's check our answer real quick. So we're going to get negative 4 times. So what we are trying to accomplish, we want to know if that equals 12. Okay, let's type that on decimals. Oopsie. I'm sorry about all that with the camera. give us 12. I guess I don't need to put the parentheses, but so we did our problem correctly. See how easy it is to check, and you don't have to ask anyone, hey, did I do it correctly? You check it yourself on those ones. All right, let's do number 6. Okay, so here, before we even start, we have 1, 2 terms here, 1, 2, 3. So altogether 5. Now, and that's what multi-step equations are, but would we want to reduce them, solve them? We would like to have 4 steps. So first off, I'm going to go to the side. It just happens to be right side, the side I always like to move stuff. And I'm going to combine my like terms right away. So 2x and plus 2. See how I circle that plus with it? That way I know what to do with it. So if there's nothing in front of them, you could put that little plus there, because that means there's an imaginary plus. See that? So 2 plus 2 is 4. So let me copy 2x minus 2 equals 2 plus 2 is 4. And x, see it twice, write it once, because they are alike, so you add them, and minus 4. Now look at that, we got 4 terms, so much easier now. So like I would start on this side. If there's nothing there, put plus there. So opposite minus 4x. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. This cancels, and you get negative 2x. Like see that? The larger sign carried larger number, excuse me, carried the sign to the answer. See that? 2 minus 4. All right, that little trick I taught previously. Okay, now we are back to one-step equation. So plus 2 to both sides. And then last step, see how the larger sign carried a negative? Larger number, I'm sorry. All right, last step, divide by negative 2. Okay, now let's go ahead and check our answer. So I'm going to have 2 times 1 minus 2 equals 2 times 1 plus 2 times 1. Now, if you don't want to use decimals, you don't have to. These are pretty easy to do actually in your head. So 2 times 1 is just 2, but if you want to use decimals, go for it. And 2 minus 2, obviously 0. And on this side, 2 times 1 is just 2, and 2 times, let's do, it's also 2, so you would have got 4 minus 4. So 0 equals 0, and that's correct. So we did our equation correctly. So don't get alarmed if you get zeros. That doesn't matter. What we're looking for is make sure this side is equal to that side. That's what we are looking for. All right, that's number 7. Okay. On this one here again, what we are looking at is we have 1, 2, 3 terms and 2 on the right. So let's go straight to combining like terms, because we want to have 2 on this side, 2 on that side before we even start. So these two look similar. And see how the negatives, I'm circling them, because that way I know what I'm doing. So that 1 right there, and just write it in. Negative 3 and negative 4 is going to give us negative 7x. And then equals 5 minus 3x. Okay, now I have 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4. So perfect. Now I could start, like I said, I always start on the right side with the variable, because I want to get my equation small as fast as I can. That way I get rid of the 2 variables, I combine them and just end up with 1, and it just makes life easier. Yes, you could have started it here, here, or there. You would have just did opposite operation. So if anybody, personally, I could show you how to do those if needed. Otherwise, I'm going to start out opposite. So what I did on this side, I have to do on this side. So the equal sign here technically separates your equations in 2. All right, that cancels. So 1 minus, see how the larger number has the negative? That's why I already know it's going to be negative. Negative 7 plus 3, going to be 4x equals 5. Okay, now we're back to one-step equation. We want to Move this to that side. Opposite operation is -1. So negative 4x equals 4. And then last step, divide by what you see next to the x. Okay, let's check our answer. We got -5. Oh, -1, excuse me. So what I'm doing is plugging in the answer. See how I'm using all these parentheses? Because we have a negative number. With negatives, I don't play. I put my negatives in. All right. This could be easy to do in your head too, but let's just put in Desmos for sake of time because I'm trying to hurry because I have a few more problems to go over. And this way, that way you get hang of it too, knowing that you could use Desmos for almost anything. It actually helps you, if you input it correctly, helps you get the right answers. And that gives you also practice inputting it correctly. All right, 1 minus, I'm just double checking, make sure I put everything correctly. All right, so I have 8 on that side. And then let's do the next side. See how I hit enter? Don't clear it because that way you could see it right there to compare. And okay, got an 8. Didn't even have to finish the parentheses. So 8 equals 8. All right, we did our question correctly. Okay, number 8. See the negative again? In front of that parenthesis, I'm gonna put my 1 there again. Make life easier. What I'm gonna do is distribute -1 to both of these terms. Distributing means multiplication, or you could call it factoring. There's many different vocabulary for in math. Anyway, -1 times 3 is -3x. Negative times negative is positive 3. See how I did the second term? -1 times -3. So this is the most common mistake students forget. I've done it before too, forgot to multiply the second term. All right, so, okay, now I got 2 terms on this side too. Like again, I'm gonna start on this side, opposite -4x. What I do to one side, I do to the other side. See how I'm using the same sign? Make sure you're doing that. That's another mistake I've been seeing. And well, unfortunately, I done it too. On this side, I used whoever, me or a student, used the negative here and positive here on accident. And I don't know. So please be careful. Double check those. Because that's the most common mistake. -7x. Okay, that's a 4. All right, now we back to one-step equation. So -3, -3. So -7x equals 1v1. See how the larger number had a positive? That's why my answer has a positive. And last step, then I got -7. I was running out of space here. So answer is -3. All right, now let's check ourselves real quick. See how I'm checking every question I do? Usually, you know, personally, I don't. But when you're new to this, please do this because it will help you out. Knowing if you're correct or not. And that way you could be proud of yourself that you're getting them all correct. Or making little tiny mistakes, you could correct yourself. All right, I'll just put that in Desmos just for sake of time. And plus more practice. Okay, that gives us -12. Now let's just hit enter. 24 plus 4. Look at that. Something. Let's see. -3. Let's see if I inputted something like 24 plus 4 times negative 3. Okay, so that side is 12. So on the top, oh, I see my mistake. So see that? What could happen? See that first one? I have a 1, and here on my paper is -1. So this kind of mistake also could happen. So make sure when you're on Desmos, you are inputting what's on your paper. So we gotta fix this. Right here, we gotta add that negative, and voila, look at that, 12 equals 12. So sometimes it could be an input error of a person who is inputting into Desmos. So you gotta be very careful in math, unfortunately. So now we could correct this. But this is how you could tell if you're correct or not, because you're gonna be like, oh, it's not equaling. So that would be plus, because I forgot to put that negative in Desmos. All right, now we're correct. Okay, let's do number, oops, number 9. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 again. So over here, we're gonna start combining like terms. This one, that one. So if nothing in front of it, it's imaginary plus. 2 plus 4, 6x. Plus 3 equals 7x minus 2. So all I did is copy this down, write that down. Okay, back to 4 terms. So minus 7x to both sides. A larger number will carry the sign, so -1x. See how I put the 1 already there? You can. Just make life easier. All right, now minus 3. Okay, and last step, divide by -1. Okay, and now let's see if we were correct. So, 2 times 5 plus 3 plus 4 times 5 equals 7 times 5. Minus 2. Okay, that's a 4. And plus. Okay. So I'll just put the left side into Desmos because it'll be faster. I'll clear all the other stuff out of here. Sometimes if it gets too many lines in Desmos, please clear it because then you're gonna get too much information in there. Apologies with the camera. And now this time, make sure what you're putting in, not like on my last problem, is what you have. Plus. Okay, we got 33. And let's do the second one real quick since we're up here already. Look at that. 33 equals 33. So we were correct. All right. So my answer is correct. So it was 5. All right, we got a couple more left. A few. Couple means 2. Few is more than 2. Okay, number 10. We are distributing that 3. So -3x. Minus 3 times 2 is 6 equals 2 plus x. I will put my 1 there. So I have 2 terms on this side, 2 terms on that side, so minus 1x. Plus 6 to both sides. -4x equals 8. And last step, divide by -4. -2. All right, let's check our answer real quick. So 3, negative. See how I'm writing these parentheses here? Because now you have 2 negatives next to each other. So that's very helpful. And here, see how we have a plus? But our answer here is a minus. Excuse me, minus 2, oh, there it is. So we are going to change that plus into minus already. So we already know this side is 0. So let's put that one side real quick and, well, let's do it by hand. Why not? Negative times negative is positive. So we're gonna have 3 times 0 equals 0. So 0 does equal 0. So we were correct again. So if you needed Desmos, you could use Desmos. This time it's just faster to do it by hand. All right, number 11. So we have 4 of these. Okay, I'll put 1 there. So minus 1x, minus 1x. So we're gonna have negative 3x minus 12 equals 3. That cancels. Opposite operation, plus 12. 15, and last step, divide by 3. Negative 3. All right, let's check our answer. So negative, oops. My apologies. Keep on hitting the camera. All right. Negative 5 minus 12 equals 3 minus 5. See how that plus here? Plus and minus override that plus. So on this side it'll be easy. We'll get negative 2. And this side here, we could do it by hand. Sometimes it's faster than typing it in. Negative 2 times negative 5, it's going to give us 10 plus 10 minus 12. And then 10 minus 12 is just negative 2. So we were correct again. All right, one more problem. This will be our last one for today. Okay. So a lot of these were very similar, just extra practice. All right. So we have a negative from the parentheses, so we're going to put 1 there. So negative 1. Distribute that to a whole parentheses. So negative 4x plus 4 equals 16 plus 2x. All right, I'm going to start with this side. Right side, minus 2x to both sides. This will cancel. So you got negative 6x plus 4 equals 16. We are back to one-step equation. Minus 4 to both sides. And 16 minus 4 is 12. And divide by negative 6. Okay, we end up with negative 2. So let's check our answer. Our last answer. All right, negative 1. 4 times negative 2 minus 4 equals 16 plus 2 times negative 2. My apologies. All right, let's finish this up. Okay, this will be negative 4. Okay, so 12 on this side. Let's work out this side. So negative 8 minus 4 gives us negative 12, and negative 1 times negative 12 is just 12. So both of these did equal each other. That means we did our equation correct. All right. So our answer was negative 2.